Okay. So the next 3 bays we want to play, right? Like this one, and this one.
Yeah, even if it's only like 2 hours.
Yeah. I'd want to play the Dappos one for longer.
Yeah, me too.
These other two just seem above average.
Yeah, but they can be good practice regardless.
Yeah. What I want to go over first are things that we have problems with, rather than reviewing old stuff that we already know. So I want to look
Mm-hmm.
at grillers. High-tide grillers. I'd say this comp is not too different from the Dappos comp, except that the Dappos comp has E-Leader, which is a one-shot stun.
Mm-hmm.
Though I don't really value one-shot stuns that much anymore, because of how unreliable it can be.
In high-tech grillers in this map, we especially struggle with small fries, and therefore with stunning when the small fries harass the single person who is in the platform in middle.
Yeah, speaking of that, look at what the Rapid Pro is doing.
Yeah, taking care of those small fries, but I don't think we have anything that's long range in the next rotation.
We have Sloshing Machine, which is probably the better option for small fries.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, Tri-Slosher can take over if Sloshing Machine isn't doing it. In this comp, there's also Tri-Slosher to help as well. So the
Yeah,
stuns in this game are a bit wonky. There's also that D-lore at the start. I wanna see that again. So, remember in previous reviews I've said try not to like overcorrect grillers that are getting delured at middle?
yeah,
If there's egg power-ups, I think it's fine to overcorrect. Because we need the time to collect eggs anyway. So that couple of seconds is us recovering ink and getting more eggs. I'm gonna show a wave later on Polaris where speed really ruined the game instead of
mm-hmm.
having control. So small fries are more of a problem when the grillers are on the left lane. If they're on the right
Yeah,
lane, they pretty much never go to the gusher place. Just because of how the pathing works. Also, I kinda skipped over the D-lore that I wanted to see.
it was one from the left to that went to the right?
Yeah, that's the one. Well, not this one, but it's the worst D-lore that you don't want to do.
That one.
Yeah. That happens when you're standing on the grate. Is this way good?
I think it's okay to use Ray when eggs start piling up and the stunner was targeted.
Yeah. I think it's fine. Doesn't give much options for later though.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed is that they are like almost like in an X formation.
An X formation?
Against these grillers. Yeah. Like, you don't have like 3 people on the gusher side or 3 people at basket.
Yeah.
Per se, but there's like someone in each direction, maybe one on the top left, one on the bottom left, one on the top right, one on the bottom right. At least from this point of view.
I think it didn't work out on this specific griller, because everyone's like here, right? But the griller tail is over there, and these weapons aren't that particularly far ranged. So what they would be doing is be over here, so they can shoot the tail and stun the griller. But it doesn't get stunned. Only the Tri-Slosher was shooting the tail and the Rapid Blaster, which isn't enough. So weapons like the Splat Briller and Dabble should be doing that at the corner. They should be on the stun. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Yeah, that's also something I wanted to talk about, is if there's a pair of grillers coming, when to use Splashdown on one of them, and on which griller to use it on. I think the second one is the best in most cases, because, like, unless the griller is coming very quickly and the team doesn't have time to get into position, which on Bay is less likely, because everyone's just huddled up at basket, and you can just go to the left or right of basket to get into position. So it's less often you would use Splashdown for the first griller if it's coming fairly quickly. So the second one is better, I'd say, because by the time... Okay, let's assume the first griller has already been stunned. The second one is used... I mean, the Splashdown is used on the second griller because the team is focusing on the first griller, and the first griller might be blocking the second griller. And also you have the fact that the Splashdown also deals damage to the first griller that's already stunned, so you're getting more damage out of one Splashdown. Also, the second griller that spawns, I mean the second griller that is approaching basket, is more likely to be the latest spawn. And the latest spawn passes through the first griller. The first griller will crouch under the second one. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at that again, because I was busy explaining that one thing. And we remember, like, when to use Splashdown, right? When the griller is coming, and we're on the platform.
Yeah. Yeah, eggs are piling up.
on the same direction and way is used. Yeah, the way wasn't necessary though.
I think they thought a splashdown wouldn't be used.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that second early kill at the start, it might be harder to do on hazard level max. Look at the quota on this rail.
Yeah.
19.
So the third griller that spawns, I think, takes longer. Yeah, it's longer than 3 seconds now. So they had time to kill the second griller and lure the third griller properly. But in hazard level max, you can expect it to be faster. So if the ray was saved, I guess it wouldn't matter really.
Maybe for the following waves. Also, next bay rotation will have E-liter. Do you wanna treat the E-liter the same as Hydra, and that is to have E-liter to stay in a certain position and try to not egg unless targeted?
Yeah. I have more to say about how to handle E-liter and charges later.
Okay.
Feel like that way was okay. But ballpoint was in position, and there was also Enzap I think already at the middle. It's not like there was a lot of eggs either. And that was the only way. Oh. So wait. Leia comes to here instead of staying there to hit the griller.
Yeah. I think there was time to get the other griller eggs.
So
And the eggs were close to basket, so you don't need it all for players grabbing those eggs.
So Q's is here. I think Q's was still hitting the griller, but she's tri-slosher, so it's not that good. And also, Big backs up when he's ballpoint. He has the most DPS when he could have been at the corner here, shooting the tail. So I think if Leia had stayed at middle with Anzap and did basically what she was doing the entire wave, and then if Big stayed at the corner as ballpoint, it would have been fine. Yeah, it would have been 80 for sure if that happened. Like 3 seconds, 2 seconds with 5 eggs in the corner, that's fine. I think the way was okay. They're being killed in a good spot as well.
I feel like it can get awkward when the person that has Ray, uh, it's at middle platform.
So let's look at that again. Is this rate necessary? No, not really. It's not necessary. Could have been fine without it. But here's a splashdown that was used on the first griller in the pair.
Yeah, I think it was better to use it on the second because 2 people were already in position to stun that one.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think Bomb Rush was very necessary there because the jet was already deployed.
Yeah. Like right here it could have been good, because look at all those small fires.
Yeah.
And also, I should have just stayed on the right. There was already 2 people there. Wait, how many eggs were there? So if those 2 got those eggs and I got this egg, wait. I think that would have been 80, but I might have been blocked by the small fries for my last egg. Because I'm also 96, I'm not that good at dealing with small fries. Which in that case, bomb rush would have been good there. So maybe it still would have been 79. Actually, no. Yeah, it would have been 80, but it could have been 81. In that case. But here, I feel like I need to bomb the griller because the small fires that are right next to me weren't being killed. Even though we had Carbon and Blaster right there. I think they were too busy damaging the griller instead of killing the small fires.
I think at the end the carbon roller was also busy egging instead of clearing up a bit, even on the left side.
What was
But
it
maybe
doing?
just desync small fries. Egging instead of clearing. But I think it was mostly desyncs, not sure. During the last 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, with the small fires. I don't think the splashdown was necessary for that griller. Cause like it was already stunned and was shooting at it. I think they were worried that the jet would have landed inside the griller and died. But we still had time to kill it, and the jet would have been fine.
For example, there I see carbon roller sometimes backing up, trying to hit the griller after the bomb rush. And small fries begin to be like a nuisance.
Yeah, of the 3 weapons, Carbon was the best there to deal with the small fires.
Yeah, I think carbon can still egg while rolling.
Yeah, that would have made things easier. So for the last splashdown, let's say it wasn't used here, and the griller dies about now. Would it have enough time? It's actually on the splashdown, this griller. I wonder if, like, stepping on the grate and then using it there would have enough time to stun it when it's at basket. Because you can stand on the left grate and the griller still comes up the right. So, he sees that he's targeted now, but imagine he's not using splashdown at this moment. He can stand on this grate and splash down at the right time to stun it at basket. And also he is heavy, so he can shoot some shots from over here and still damage this griller. So imagine this griller gets stunned and killed here, which is like a couple seconds sooner. And this griller gets delured earlier. I think that could have been 85?
85.
Yeah. So I think the important thing to know on high tide grillers on Bay is to know when to push the grillers without specials. And when to like use specials when the pressure is starting to pile up. Specifically eggs piling up and grillers that are coming in a different direction. And also we need to be killing them at the corners as soon as possible. We can't be letting them like get to the middle of basket because that's too late. Now onto the tweets. Here's a thing we could do if we really need to.
Oh, you can stall them there.
Yeah. You can like... You're just under the griller's hitbox when you're on the bottom of the slope. And here's R's perspective. Notice how late he begins shooting in this clip. Like, I'm shooting at the corner, but then he shoots, like, later, and it still gets stunned at basket.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could do that.
I think this could be a good, like, retreat option if it doesn't get stunned at the corner. Because it turns the tail toward this player. And also, I think these players here can still hit it. Maybe players that are over here as well. Let's see where the tail is. So I think players that are here, like, by the grate can still shoot it. But that's only if they know that the person aggroed is doing this strat. Okay, here's something for the Dapple's rotation. Like, you wanna be turreting at the very corners of the grate. Though this spot is kinda too close for comfort. You might wanna be more at the corner. And when you're aggroed, you can stand at the inner corners. Like in this image.
Okay.
Oh yeah, here's something we discovered. So the grillers actually pass to the side of basket and there's this gap in between, which is just perfect to hit the tail with a splashdown. You can also use it to hit the griller tail with other weapons, especially chargers. Like on yard, when the griller's passing by basket, you can shoot it like when it's passing basket. Though, I don't think we'll use it in actual games.
But still good to know. It's
Yeah.
an option. And you start the splashdown same as always, just as it ends the turn.
Yeah. So here's some hitbox stuff. This isn't particularly useful. This is a little more useful, but not really. This is the most useful. Aiming between the grillers, especially with chargers, lets you hit both at the same time with a single shot. I think it also works with non-piercing weapons sometimes. Some of the bullets will do it. So if they're like on top of each other, you wanna aim at between the gap of both grillers. Oh. Okay, so the ray timing is the same as splashdown activation, like at the edge of this platform. When the front of the griller is at the edge of the platform. I actually activate ray earlier, but remember that ray has like almost a full second of startup. You need to begin hitting the griller at the splashdown point. I mean, you do have some leeway because the griller needs to have some time to turn before moving at basket. So like, if it's coming from the left, it can be hard to like see the ground and judge the distance, so you can also tell the left side griller if it's aligned with the left lift, like this. And also it's easier to ray head on rather than from the side. I think there's a clip of me doing it from the side. Yeah, here it is. So the thing is, why this is less effective is because the griller is traveling quickly this way, but the ray has a much slower turn speed. So you need to aim like at the farthest side of the griller, the front of the griller, and then try to keep up with it. Like you can see here that the griller actually outpaced the ray turning. But because I was hitting the front, I was able to keep up with it just barely at basket. But when it's head on, you don't need to worry about that. Like you barely need to move the ray. And also remember this gap here gives you some time. Like if you're the one aggroed and you're raying, the griller will need to actually come to the side of basket and then turn into you. So you do have some time before the griller actually gets to you. Okay, so when there are two grillers coming closely to each other, you need to remember that your job as Ray is to stun the grillers, not to kill them. So if there's a second griller right behind the first one, you wanna switch your attention to the second one after you've stunned the first one.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then you let your teammates handle the first stun griller while you stun the second griller for them. Okay, so this is mostly a problem with the E-leaders. So what you don't want to do is basically kill the grillers early with your one shot. Like you can see the eggs are starting to pile up, and the grillers are being stunned early. The grillers being stunned here is like the equivalent of them being stunned on the grates of Bay on high tide.
It's just hard to egg that way.
Yeah, because the grillers are also coming in that direction and blocking the eggs. And the eggs take longer to run, so you're running less of them if you even can. Like, the extra 1 or 2 seconds to lure them to basket saves you way more time in the long run. It's just more controlled. This is a perfect example of speed isn't everything.
There goes the snatcher.
Yeah, there's so much that it doesn't matter at this point. We can't get all of these eggs. We're gonna have to be careful of this on the Dapos Sploos Polaris, because there's an abundance of DPS on that comp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, here's like a route map for the grillers. Basically, just stand right, make the grillers go right, stand left, make them go left. But the only important thing to know about the middle, the purple part, is this bottom dock griller. Now there's a difference between these two dock grillers. If you stand in the middle here, this one goes under, but this one goes up. This part is mostly important just for this one because you can, if you're the one targeted and you have, say, splashdown that you want to use or like a charger to stun, you can just stand here and hit the tail here. I have a clip for that soon or later, I mean. Wait, do I have one? I think it's after these Goldie ones. Yeah. Oh, it's actually in this very clip that I show it. Look, I'm standing in the middle, and then I move to the left to the splashdown. Though I don't need to move to the left at all, I can just stand in the middle and it still works. So what you wanna do is to activate splashdown when the griller is halfway under the grate. Like see, I do it exactly when it's halfway under. And it gets stunned like right below the right side grate, where we can do the egg trick. And also another thing to note, if the griller is coming from this dock, you need to be standing on the right side, not at middle, in order to bring it under the grate. So when you can move to the middle is when the griller is turning into the grate. Like we can see that here. You can see the griller does a little turn into the grate. Doing that is when you can start moving to the left from the right. Okay, I think this is what I wanted to show with like DPS or charges. So when you have teammates that are also shooting the griller under the grates, high DPS weapons or high damage per shot weapons like chargers want to refrain from shooting the griller until a certain point. Like you can see this charger shoots the griller early while the teammate is shooting the griller. And the griller gets stunned too early and we can't do the egg trick. But here's E-Leader. E-Leader one-shots it under the grate. Here's normal charger again while the teammate is shooting, and it also does the same effect. So let's see the last one again. So if teammates are shooting the griller, it's better for high DPS and high damage per shot weapons to line up the tail with this black line here, so that the griller gets stunned directly below the grate to do the egg trick. Okay, next is Goldie seeking stuff.
I saw the Goldie seeking stuff. It's still very hard to tell when the Goldie is gonna go to the middle.
Yeah. This is just Dapple's positioning. For the Goldie that exit and starts from the middle gusher, there is a difference between the turret positions. You can see here when it's exiting to this gusher, you stand a little farther back. But when it's like at that gusher and it's gonna leave, you can see I'm at the corner here. That's because the Goldie is higher up at the starting gusher, rather than when it's escaping, it's lower. So you wanna be closer because it's high up. Also remember to begin walking when the Goldie is before the Goldie escapes your range. On this spot you can move farther back and that could be better. Here's some confirmation.
Yeah, rolling is not good.
Yeah. Not only does it cost too much ink, it actually does less damage. Yeah, walking is way better. So, I think what's difficult about doing this is the head waddle. It's looking left and right. Like, try and look at the basket Goldie first. While it's coming up the ramp, I think, yeah, it's very close to the middle one.
Yeah, I can only tell when it is close to the lift.
Like here is easy to see us looking at that one. I think we should do mitigation when it's like that. 9 eggs when it's large. And when it's medium size, we just kill it at middle. Because on bay, it's not likely enough for the Goldie to go to basket or be at basket for us to not mitigate. Because there's been multiple occasions where we try to kill the Goldie at middle, but it escapes at small size. And then the next seek, it comes to basket small. Which is unlucky. Is that all for the clips? Yeah. Also, I don't think I need to say it again, but splashdown, jet, or bomb rush, like on the fast Goldies that are escaping basket. Like at the middle gusher, if it spawns at the middle gusher and we want to kill it there, we would use like a jet, bomb rush, or splashdown. Maybe 2 of those at once to kill the Goldie. If it's escaping, I don't think we should, because the chance of us killing it is much lower, and we're better off just mitigating it at that point. If it's at basket and not everyone is there to shoot the Goldie, then we can use a special to add more damage to make up for the lack of the player who's not there. We have to make sure that the DPS weapons are at basket to shoot the Goldie at the very start. For this rotation, it doesn't really matter, there's no DPS. On this rotation, it would be Flingza, because it can roll the Goldie. On this rotation, it's Dapples. And also E-Leader and Scope. They can decide to full charge the Goldie depending on whether it looks like it's gonna be killed at the right time or not. If it looks like it's going to escape farther, it can do more full charges, like maybe 1 or 2 more full charges at medium size. But otherwise, if it looks like it'll be killed at the right time, it can do less full charges and switch to tap shooting to prevent egg loss, egg skipping. Oh, and also, we've confirmed that full charging with bamboo has better DPS than near full charges. So make sure to full charge every shot on the high damage opponents.
Right. The problem with full charging bamboo in that rotation is that undercover and flings are gonna be blocking a lot of shots due to how they work.
Oh. So the thing is about flings and undercover, they're more likely to be in front of the goalie, so as long as Tri-Slosher and Bamboo take that into consideration and stand to the side or behind of the goalie, there should be no issues.
Yeah.
Also, sloshing machine, remember to double slosh on goalies or grillers, or all the time actually, whenever you have the chance to.
Yes.
Tri-Slosher, it's not that impactful, but you can do it with that still. So that's all the clips. Oh, why'd I do that? Here's some sessions I wanted to go over. Oh, but before that, the right side drizzler, we still have problems with that at the start. So I've seen sometimes, like, say, we booyah for the right drizzler, but someone else doesn't know, they instead retreat back up here, but that's not safe. Because it's still in radius of this first drizzler. And also this one, it causes it to jump to here, which is bad. So don't go back to the back of the boat as like yours as a don't treat it as a safe space for drizzler lures. Instead, you wanna be more to the left. Like where the drizzler usually is at the back of basket or just at the side of the ship. And then it's the same for... Actually, no, you want to be more at the bottom when the drizzler is at this middle jump. So an easy way to tell where you gotta be is in line with the basket on the left. And then when it jumps here, it's still safe to be here though. Most people just go back to the top of the boat. And then it jumps to basket.
Yeah, it's also just to make sure we don't break any lures, to try to not be on the right side of the boat when the wave starts. Like paint a lift and make sure you have enough time to retreat.
Yeah.
Because drizzler gets stopped there pretty often just when they spawn.
Yeah, remember, if you happen to be on the side that spawns are happening on, or even if you don't know that spawns are happening there, you want to be looking at the side that you are on, so that you don't stop any lures, and you relay information as soon as possible to your team. Like, if you're standing on the right, look to the right. If you're standing on the left, look to the left. Middle, we don't really have to worry about, because drizzlers take some time to jump from middle to baskets. On the left and right, it's more important. The right is more important though than left because the radius covers more of basket. So let's look at the
めっちゃ暖かかった。
videos.
春先の匂いがして
そう楽
ヘビ
しいものだ。
はいいかも。バクマいる。
あ、本当だ。
バクもう一。
立てた。片番右と正面。どっちも。これ正面行く。右入れる。
右に痛いね。
So they decide to go for the middle flyfish instead of the right side flyfish. Because like,
右
the middle flyfish, you won't have many chances to go for it later in the wave, but if the flyfishes are on either side of basket on the left or right, they can be accessed from basket.
もう一体、もう二体。
Whereas in the middle of the wave or end of the wave, if you're trying to lure bosses to baskets, you cannot go for the middle flyfish unless you use ray.
左に入れる。
Or if you use jet, but then if you use jet, you break the lures of steelheads and stuff.
片パしか聞いてない。大丈夫そう。
So prioritizing middle flyfishes mid-wave can be good.
あ、入ってなかったんだっけ。はい
Because you can deal with the basket fly fishes whenever you get back to basket, but middle is like really limited when you can go for it.
ああ、やべ、死ぬな、これ。危ね。あ、大丈夫だ、拾えるわ。
This was just an unlucky wave.
肩パー。朝。
右も。
ほい。
どっちか止めていいな。
右2枚止まった。
どうすべきだったかな。あと。
By the way, a good time, like, to look for new spawns is when the timer is below 5 seconds. Like, say, it's under 85 seconds, under 75 seconds. You wanna be prepared to look at the other spawns to see if anything spawns there.
左落とした。
Because remember, at the start of every new spawn group, a boss spawns
ごめん
immediately.
左奥の左切ったら誰かになった。
ズバッとなった。
So you can use that as an easy indicator for what's the new spawn direction.
ナイス
Other than the lessers that spawn as well. Lessers are also an easy indicator.
爆弾です。
So 3 steelheads, that's an easy jet.
確認やったね。
左の鉄板取った左下の。
ミカサ。
右下やった。
So they go for the bottom eggs while Gunji handles the basket eggs. That's decent.
ちょっとずれてそう。
That's unfortunate.
止めるんじゃなかった。
So that's a case of not too many people staying at basket toward the semi-end of the wave. Because let's say if 2 people stayed at basket there, then that would be 1 less egg gotten from the far side. Because there was already enough eggs for 1 player at basket to get them.
パタパタ取るわ。鉄板パゲご存知で誰か。
They got the flyfish eggs because the scrapper was blocking the stinger eggs. Even though, like, the stinger eggs are farther away than the flyfish eggs.
爆弾にいるの？
3段、まあやっとうか。わあ、マジか。
真ん中角。
モグラもらった。
I remember you can hover over the middle pool with jet.
スイッチ。
玉拾いやばいね。ナイスナイスナイ
You can use that to stay safe or
ス。
something.
いや
Or to reach the flyfishes on both sides if you need to.
右拾いとか。
爆弾に。
ここまで大丈夫かな。やばいかな。
感じそのモグラもらったかな。
絶対ここだもん。
You wanted to go for the farther eggs there, but realized there's too many at
もう
basket.
一回拾えると思う。
Yeah,
ナイス。
it's good to change opinions, like when you're gonna go for fire eggs instead of committing to them, if you know they are not the best
絶対
choices.
全然当たらなかった。
Yeah, don't overcommit.
Yeah, because in the end, it's better to have 4 people egging like 20 eggs in your basket than just 3 people.
Yeah, instead of getting 1 far egg, you get 3 closer eggs. Something like that.
Yeah,
It all depends on how much time there is left.
あ、取れた取れた。
If there's more time remaining,
左通路
or if there's less eggs at basket,
はい。
then it would be good to go for a far egg.
yeah.
あ、ごめん。 あんまり当たらんかった。
あ、やばいちゃん。
Maybe there would have been good for the slope stall. That was a perfect setup for it.
あ、ごめん。なんか、だらせてるわ。
Surprised by how early they're studying them.
I think what they're trying to do is balance basket eggs and fire eggs. You can see that they're luring every like other pair of griller at basket.
Yeah.
But now you can see like they're not killing them early because they're running low on time and there's already 4 eggs to get.
Does it really boost the score?
On paper it sounds like it does. Oh, nice.
なんか、
More decent.
僕だけいくらの位置都合良さそうだった。
Even happens in Japan. I think the difference is significant enough to make one more griller come to basket. Like, I'd say it's the difference between 55s and 60s in some cases. On that wave, there were just too many like slip-ups. Someone fell down and delured a griller toward the end. And also there was a couple of deaths.
あ、いいね、いいね。そんなね。
Well, it could be something to try on like the Dapples rotation.
右。鉄板ね、触ったわ。中央の。
We can kill 1 or 2 grillers. Like at the start, we can kill up to 2 grillers early. And then lure the rest of the grillers next to basket until the farther eggs are cleaned up. And then toward the middle of the wave, we would want to lure only 1 griller. I mean, we would want to kill early only 1 griller.
当たったかなこれ。当たってるな。
Because we do have less time, and by that time we would have more things happening. So I don't want too much pressure at the middle of the wave. At the end, we would want to lure all the grillers close to basket. That's only for normal tide grillers, by the way. I wouldn't really want to do that on high tide.
No, it's too fast paced.
Yeah. At most, we can get away with 1 early kill on the next griller after the first one. But that's it.
はーい。俺もそれ行くわ。怖いな。
So I feel like here, I'm not trying to call you out but I think here is where you try to dive in and get the eggs, but here Ganji does the opposite. He backs up because there's too much stuff.
Yeah, that would have been my plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say that you can't conceal it.
So he takes the time to clear some stuff before going to get the egg. I can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to use the barriers here to slip past without falling off. Like, if he was walking on it, he'd probably be knocked off into the water. There just wasn't enough space for him to slip past the scrapper.
安定ないうちに帰ろう。
やった。
爆弾寄った。これ誰だ。
So back on what I was saying about like
モグラ来るな。
食われた音してね。
backing up when you don't have enough
後ろ
power,
にコウモリいるか。
like that's like one of the main things that reduces death counts, I'd say, is realizing like whether you can handle a situation solo or not, and then deciding to
Yeah.
retreat or back up and take a few more seconds to deal with stuff in front of you.
Yeah, so a lot of times I try to be sneaky, get an egg, but turns out Quahawks are pretty fast and hit pretty hard.
If something looks tough to handle, just like take a second to consider, will I survive this or not? With the weapon that I have, and the amount of ink that I have. Cause entering an engagement with a full ink tank or most of your ink is important.
外しました。
超えていった。あ
Like let's
あ、
say
これは。
you throw a bomb when you're trying to enter a situation.
鉄板触ってない。
どれ
Like I think some players think that that's better to do to enter a fight by throwing a bomb, but sometimes that's counterproductive because you have less ink to manage stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So refrain from throwing bombs when entering like what might be a heavy duty engagement.
そう。
コウモリ3いるな。
Yeah.
Save the bombs for while you're swimming away or something.
Yeah, I tend to do that a lot with
ええ。
the low tide side of the yard on normal tides.
ハイプレ運ぼうかな。
はい。
Also noticing how they were trying to push the forest spawns mid-wave, but now they're backing up because they have less time. Like under 35 seconds they back up in order to lure the steelheads.
あれ飛ぶね
あれ。も飛ぶな。
うん。いやあんまり当てられんかった。
And in our group, we have too many occasions where someone goes to get one of those far eggs.
番長。
Yeah.
Two steelheads are alive.
船の番長マジでハイプレ5本ぐらい欲しい。
2本じゃ足りんよな。ナイス
足りない。
ナイスだな。
So you see some teams like
おお。
回復か
kill the drizzler early,
うん。
but I think that's only because they think there's no choice but to kill them, because if they try to escape, then the drizzler would stop anyway because they're too far away from basket.
Yeah.
もう一個もらった。
But otherwise, on that occasion, they were far enough to move away, so they backed up. So at the start of high tides, it might be better to just stand back, because there's more than enough time to go for far statics at the start. There's nothing
Yeah.
blocking the
普
way.
通の鉄板取ったけど変わるかも。
So just stand
I
back
mean-
and observe what's happening.
はい、了解。
I have seen situations where people just wanna kill something early
That is
without
correct.
realizing what the other spawn is.
うわ
And the
ー
steelhead that spawned
Man,
early
kata-
ends up living through the entire wave without being killed.
ああ、持って
Only
た。
Yeah.
because we did back up.
And also, an eel can just spawn right next to the eggs and block them.
Yeah.
同じの入れちゃった。ごめん。やばいやばいやばいやばい。
とてもやばい。
Dangerous.
いろいろやばい。
I don't know how he lived. I would have died.
ね。
Let's see what happened.
You're the splatter hopping.
やばいやばいやばいやばい。
So let's see this, like... I think immediately
ああ、同じの入れちゃった。
he realized a chum just dropped down, and then he shot it and killed it so he could move forward. And then this
That bomb
wall,
also helped him.
what was that, R?
I was gonna say that bomb he threw before he jumped down also helped him because
Did it?
otherwise he would have been crushed by the scrapper. I think.
あー、無理だったかな。
No, I think the bomb wasn't that needed, because he could have just turned and shot the scrapper quickly. Or maybe it was already on this person and it didn't matter,
やばいやば
because it wouldn't go after him.
いやばいやばい。
とてもやばい。
If it was on him though, like I said, he can just shoot it once and it's fine. Like let's say...
あー、持ってかれた。
Oh.
あー、無理だった。
Oh, it is on him. Wait, no, that's after he threw the bomb. Let's say it's not
Yeah,
on
it's
him.
after the bomb.
Like, the scrapper is still hitting this way, but then it begins turning toward him. He kills the chum, and then flicks to the right and stalls the scrapper. Then he swims this way. It's still the same outcome.
やばいやばいやばいやばい。
So let's see.
あー、無理。
So now he's at the wall. Another reason to paint this wall whenever you can.
やばいや
So he shoots the chum that would block his way when he's trying to get up, or would push him off into the water here while he's trying to climb. And then...
ばい。
Wait, does he actually shoot the scrapper?
あー、無理だったかな。やばいやばい。
I would
Yeah, he
have
does.
shot it. I would have shot the scrapper just before I climbed, just to make sure.
Yeah.
That would have killed me in that scenario.
いろいろ
So in that case, he was dealing with the most immediate threats in front of him to make sure he can escape. Like, the chum are right there, they're really fast at swinging, and they might block the wall as well. And the scrapper would also crush him on the wall, so he wants to stop that as well.
やばいやばいやばいやばい。
And that's how he managed to escape.
いろいろ
So he realized the immediate threats and took care of them. So he could escape.
これずれてない？結構ずれてる。
Oh,
That's
this is
decent.
Yeah.
お、来た来た来た。
amazing.
I hear the term desync in Japanese so much, I can know it from the top of my head. Like, I notice what they're saying as well. Like, zureteru, that means desync, basically. So,
左開ける。
the thing about realizing the immediate threats mostly comes from experience and considering after the fact what could have been done.
僕、ああ、これは。うわ
これね。
So experience is like playing and paying attention to your actions, and then afterwards analyzing what you could have done better after those actions.
ああ、着地切ればよかっ
Sometimes it's not what you could have done better, but an alternate path that you could have taken.
Yeah.
Also, he missed a snatcher right there.
た。右高い。
高い。
高高。
高高。
後ろ。
後ろ。
右
Oh, one thing I wanted to say about seeking.
うまい。
So,
5。
はい。
6。
6。
you see that they dropped a 5th egg there. I think it's fine at that gusher. But I often see a 5th egg being dropped here. Or down there. And it not being retrieved by anyone.
ああ、これは。
So I'd say do not drop a 5th egg unless you intend to get it
わかん
afterwards.
ないな。
I tend to drop the fifth egg just to make sure the goldie reaches basket quicker when it's like
Uh,
15
ああ、着地
seconds
切ればよかっ
left.
oh, I mean at the start.
Ah, I see.
It's mostly a problem at the start. At the end, it's not really a problem. Because of the reason that you said.
た。高高。
高高。
後ろ。
後ろ。
はい。
Also, remember when the goldie is medium or small,
いや。
so that we don't end up using specials on
あれ、よかっ
a medium-sized goldie that doesn't need it.
た。はい。 うわー、ダメだね。
Also, by the way, I already tweeted this before and showed it on a review, but
はいや
he splashdowns when the gushers are lowering themselves,
左出た
so they don't get opened by the splashdown and they kill the lessers as well.
Mm-hmm.
ダメる
取れてない。
So the quick charge bamboo shots he's doing are not optimal,
右
right?
逃げた
Yeah, they're dealing less damage. Less
後ろに
DPS.
5個爆ある。
Like, it feels
ダ
faster,
メだ
but in reality it's doing less.
気まぐれすぎるだろ60もぐもぐだ
モグラ。パタパ。ごめん。
爆弾いるね左脇爆弾
パパ。
何かこのに
モグ、片パ。
はい
Katapa.
ナイス。
おおいろいろやってる
やばいやばいやばい。あー、正面やり行くわ。
There's still time to
ネ
go
ゴ
for
さん
these.
誰かなあ私だ
Now I'd say is the time for everyone to back up. But there's only one eel, really. Oh, there is a steelhead though and another
行
eel.
くか、これ。行くべきじゃない
And the drizzler.
気がした。
Yeah, he said just there, should I actually go?
あー、助かった、それ。
持ってる。
Should someone have stayed for a single basket egg at the end instead of two players going to the left? It didn't matter. The eggs would have been the same amount. Like in the final seconds, each player deposited an egg.
モグラネゴさん
Unless a player could have gotten 2 eggs instead, then there's no difference in the score.
あ、ブリか。
あ
取ったわ。
タワー出た正面行ったあ
オーダーがヘビ
これ
だね。
私かな一回寄せるか
二人拾った。片パーみたい。
えらいことだね。入ってる。
I feel like some players would feel obliged to use an inkjet, like at those statics,
俺にもついてる。
but there's just not much enough happening to warrant it.
やべ。
モグラさんいるわ
Like you can see all of the statics from before are killed, it's just this new fly fish that spawned.
消えた。
これのどれだ
消えなかっ
モグラがど
た。
れか
肉パーみたいに。
No, there are 3
やっぱ
flies.
多いね。
Yeah.
やばい、これは死ぬわ。危ね。
雨も多いな重い
ガタ入った。
なんか飛んできたり
あ
しないかな。
モグラ私の中ついてる
モグラもらったが、じゃあヘビがやばい。もらったけど、あ
ヘビさんいるわ
はい。
あーこれしないあー寄らないよなこれは
Let's see what happened there.
重い
ガタ入った。
なんか飛んできたり
あ、
しないか
モグラ
な。
私なんかついてる。
モグラもらったが、じゃあヘビがやばい。もらったけど、あ
I think it's just the hitbox are more junkier than he expected.
Yeah.
もらったが、じゃあヘビがやばい。もらったけど、あ
がついてる。
モグラも
Like he tried his best to make the Mars egg trigger up here at basket.
ヘビ3いるわ。
はい。
あー、これしない。あ
If it worked, he would have gotten like 3 more eggs at basket.
ー、寄らないよなー、これは。
Like even if he fell down after the Mars triggered, then he could have just thrown a bomb from below and killed it. That's probably what he was planning to do.
ね。
マジで感じ
Or
たよ
otherwise, he would have jumped to the middle platform before the eel pushed him down.
タワー取るわ。
ヘビいるわ。
あーい、俺な気がするな。右脇なんか。
右鉄。私か。ん鉄。
By the way,
タワー取るわ。
ヘビ
I think he was just barely able to
あー
manage
俺な
that.
気がするな。
That would have been a
Miguel
death for
Pino.
me.
鉄。私か。
割り割り。うわー、危ね。
ごめん。ギリ遅かったか。
正面こそ。
正面は飛ばないんじゃないか。ああ、そうなるか。
左爆弾やる。おい。
So at like the first half of the wave, don't be afraid to kill steelheads like somewhat early when they trigger.
入ってきた。
さあ。
Especially if it's just a lone steelhead.
おめども。見えない。爆弾いる。
爆弾いるね。うん、いるね。
裏みたいに
見た目いるね。
Here would be a good shot.
左コタッと
はい。
左と
Well, not for the fly fishes, but for the steelheads.
Yeah, for the steelhead. I find that we
Yabai,
often underestimate the distance between the basket and the middle coastline. And in the end, we cannot retrieve most of the eggs that end up
顔
there.
周りがありすぎて。
That's why I think it's good to lure the steelheads, especially when they come to the right, from the
やばい、
right.
コーナー目の向きは。
Yeah.
やばい、コーナー目の向きは。
Could he have survived this somehow?
Yabai.
I think he could
The
have.
rain.
頑張ってくれ。
So he died because he ran into the rain. But he has this, like, he could have gone a little more to the right and shot the chums that are right next to him. The Quahawk would take a little longer to swing at him.
やばい。
And then maybe he could have recovered some ink while doing that. And then swam this way because there's still like some of his ink on this side. Which happens to be a good path away from this Quahawk.
コーナー目の向きは。
And you can see the egg just end, the rain just ends there, so maybe he could have survived barely by doing that.
ナイス。
So in that case, he didn't realize like the immediate threats in front of him, and instead just tried to book it.
浮きはそんなワープするんだ。
まあ、いいね。こ
戦ってる。ほんとなんか、
右高い。
止まりすぎて夜寝れない時あるからね。裏。
あ
I had a tweet recently on grounds for this, where you can see he opens the gusher, sees that it's high, starts moving
ー
toward
止まりすぎ
middle,
て
just in case like it's not in any of these gushers.
寝れない時あるからね。裏。
あー。これはあかん。
That would
So-
be a good thing to
なん
do.
かさ、
Yeah.
花ってさ、交互に
He's already onto the next
呼吸
move
するって言うじゃん。
after opening the gusher.
どっちも詰まる。
なんか、
ごめん。低いね。いい低い。
奥。
無駄なこと。
だから今右の鼻呼吸しているのにっていう時に
あ、入れるかな。結構遅れ。できます。
Okay, also, like, unless it's at the end of the wave, we can. I think it'll be good to go for early eggs off of a new Goldie when it's far away,
レーブ1でこれは熱いぞ。
and to leave the eggs at basket for later. Because if we do that, then the Goldie has less HP when it's approaching basket or the middle gusher,
高い。
so it gives us a higher chance to kill it.
残念な方。
まあ、
うわー、落ちちまう。
割れないね。割れるかどう
割れない。諦めた
見切り。つけた。うん。右開けるわ
左開。ける。
高いよ。
次高い。
裏。
15秒か。あ、そっか、ちっちゃかったやつ忘れてた。ちょっと。
Yeah, he forgot that it was small.
高いよ。
拾いきれん、拾いきれん。
か。
拾いきれるわ。60か。
ナイス
はいはい。
ヘビはいい。
So that the Goldie that got away toward the end from the middle gusher is like a perfect mitigation there.
このヘビのこの動きやる。
Like if we would decide to mitigate beforehand, then I'd say don't use specials if we're just mitigating.
一番
ああ、
気にな
こ
ものとしては
こもいるな。
この辺でやろうか。
はい。
やろうやろ
ここもリプル。あ、ヘビさん。痛い。痛い。痛い。
正面傘。
殺されました。
はい。
あ、ごめん。ヘビに阻まれた。あ、ヘビに。
う。うわやばい。
ヘビ多い。
危ない。
うわ正面。
うん、そっち行ったか。
Okay, I want to revise my bomb statement about whether to throw a bomb into a fight or not. Like, if you think you have enough ink after the bomb to deal with whatever is in front of you, I think it's fine to throw a bomb.
I usually throw a bomb just to get rid of the small fry because they tend to give me the most trouble and I lose a lot of time dealing with them.
ナイス。
Yeah, if that's, like, if you have enough ink to do that afterwards, like, if you have enough ink afterwards to deal with whatever you need to deal with, it's fine. Now you can see he did what I mentioned in the previous review about leaving the closer eggs for the players behind him.
何がいいですかね。
血清サンド。
Like, either way, if you can only get one egg,
丸いルートは。
whether it's close or far, you might as well get the farther one so that your teammates have the closer option,
しよっかな。
which is easier for them.
右開けます。
はい。
By the way, if the Goldie is coming from the close sides, it's okay to drop 5 eggs or more. Because you saw that they got back up in time for the Goldie kill at middle.
その顔してる
Yeah.
わかんない。
And they're also easier to watch for snatchers, because they're right by basket. It's just the far ones that are more concerning and harder to get.
やべ、落ちちゃった。
オッケー。
右開けます。
Okay, right there, that's just a little, like, inefficiency.
右開けます。右開けます。
I'd say try not to move around too much when you're shooting something important like a Goldie or a Griller. Like sometimes I see players moving back and forth or side to side when shooting, and it ends up blocking the person behind them. So what you wanna do is like have a predictable movement so that your teammates can know like where you are or where you're gonna go, so that you don't end up blocking them.
Yeah.
So right there, like, both players kind of just end up moving from one side to the other. Actually, yeah. He ends up going from this side to this side, and the other player is standing here, but then moves up here to where he was standing. Which ended up blocking shots.
中央
So try to keep the same positioning as much as possible
あ、ごめん、右足
when
だ
you're shooting stuff.
終わった。
左奥か
あ
Just think of it as removing unnecessary movements to be predictable for your team.
あ、本当に終わった。
Also, look, he went for the farther egg because he had time for those. And there was time for his other teammates to get the closer eggs.
みんな際を攻める
来てますね、これ。ああ、来てますね。右開けるね。だから、
Was that triple
あ右
seeking?
だけ。
Seems like it.
I've gotten that once on Polaris. Normal tide seeking.
やばそう。あ、
I have
was-
got triple mothership.
That's not surprising.
左開ける
待て。
はい
はいごめん。
左奥か
Oh yeah, didn't we get a triple high tide seeking on that one bay?
たまたま行きます。
I remember a triple high tide seeking where it was very lame.
Yeah, not even 200 material.
やだ。
出た了解
I think we didn't even hit 60s in any of the high tide seekings. Simply because of bad paths, not because of the weapon comp.
まっすぐ。
I actually think normal tide seeking on bay is more consistent than high tide.
Yeah, shockingly.
割れた
開けます。
I guess because there's more gushes that could end up going in baskets than
うん。こいつ
はいはい
次の一匹が。
Isn't it still 50-50 either way?
I think it gives you more time to drop early eggs in normal tide
Yeah,
when it's up
So I can-
bad. And in
Okay.
high tide you end up well not killing the gold in time. Especially when it spawns from a middle gusher to another middle
いい
gusher.
感じで。
yeah, there's more time between each seek, which allows you to get early eggs.
ナイスほぼ全開し
It's a sort of similar situation to high tide grillers versus normal tide grillers. Except the score is different.
はい。ただば。
You can see he dropped down to the left to try to not trigger the steelhead. Because that would be farther away from it than trying to take a direct line to basket.
はいもう一個来る
ナイス。止めるか。
So now I expect them to go for the stinger. Nego is going for the stinger.
君か
恐ろしいな、これ。
おえ
It's
Could
good
it
that-
not work if
So many
people go into the lift and then go for the stinger? Or will that be too much for the single player to handle?
もう一個片方が
I feel like at least 2 players is fine to stay at basket,
あ、ついてるあ、オッケーオッケーオッケー。
regardless of who has aggro.
あー、A ボタン。あ、なんか俺じゃないし。
I don't think stepping on the left in that situation would help much. Because the eels were already at basket.
あー、やばい、起動させた。
So yeah, it's just too late to do much here. Like, you can't really lure at this point in time. And there's already too much eels coming. So it's better to kill the steelheads early.
おまあまあ。 もうちょいいけそうだった。うまく。
あ、
左に。
わ
はい。
お。進路妨害。
そうそう。傘だね。
はい。
左飛ぶね。
They're gonna kill the drizzler.
はい。それも飛ぶよ、左。
はい。
I think in some cases teams would kill the left drizzler while waiting for the steelhead to come.
惜しい。オッケーオッケ
おお、めっちゃ海外勢やった。
I think either way would have worked out the same.
うわー、右。
Because I think it did end up jumping the
ー。
basket.
Yeah, but as long as there's not an eel coming,
大変。
because those eggs could get snatched
Uh,
really quickly.
2-1で残ってるわ。
あー、なんかめっちゃ持ってる。
See,
yeah, too many players on one side of basket.
いけるかな。
that's why I don't like killing stuff too close to the shores, because the snatchers grab it and they can escape pretty quickly.
Yeah. Notice how immediately after he comes up, he looks to the right when the game starts for drizzlers and stuff.
Right. 左バック。
はい。
あー、ごめん、移動するわ、あいつ。
された。
手番に取った。
はい。
So if there are two scrappers like approaching in a line, you really just need to stall the front one, and then the back one will be stuck behind it. You don't need to hit both of them or bump into both of
右側
them.
やったわ。
Also, remember that Scrapper Shield deals 30 damage, which isn't much compared to other damages in the game.
あ、目玉見えんかった。あー、これも見えんかった。
It's the exhaust that deals 40 damage that you have to watch out for.
ほぼ無傷だと思う。
Otherwise, you can just bump into the Scrapper while shooting, and you can do more work that way.
Hobby? 行こうか。
ミカサ飛ぶ。
はい。
ああ、左肩パニ。
あら。
右スタート1。
梅片方に。
まあ。40秒か。
あ、飛んだ。
はい。
石高さん。
はい。
Using jet between 50 and 40 seconds is good, like that one, to be aggressive on the statics. So that way it can be reserved for the last spawns if it's needed.
めっちゃく
上なんだ、見なかった。上見上げてたからな。ありがとう。
So let's say like there's 2 stingers that spawn on the far docks, you can use the ray in the last like 30 seconds.
ナイス。
So jet is good for, can be good for mid-wave aggressive behavior towards statics. And then for ray it's the end wave.
正面。
But otherwise, if you think the team can handle it without specials, then you don't need to use them. You can just deal with them normally with bombs. Well, flyfish
いや、
bombs.
コンボ止めるべきじゃん。
With stingers, you just shoot them. Bomb rush can be used similarly to jet, and bomb rush may be preferred because jet like has the dual use of luring steelheads, whereas bomb rush is only good for like basket control and killing forest stuff mid-wave.
Yeah.
Inkjet just has more utility when luring steelheads.
やっぱ飛んだ。
はいよ。
Here I expect him to use bomb rush toward the end, cause the second jet was already used.
いいハイプレイ。
And there's no last far spawns, so ray is used on the eels at basket. Yep, there's the bomb rush. If you have 2 rays, you can use the first ray on wave 3, more so on the mid wave, and then save the last ray for the end wave,
最後、突っかかって、なんか、入らんかっ
just to make things easier.
た。押し合い、へし合いしてた。ああ、すごいすごい。
ナイス。
ナイス。
That was a pretty insane day wave.
What was that, Og?
That was a pretty insane day wave. The way they played it was.
Yeah. Anything
That's
stood out to
crazy.
you?
Well, there was the steelheads out at mid, right? And there was 2 flyfish eggs left. And it looks like they went for it. I think that's something we can implement where if there's still like 50 seconds left and there's 2 flyfish eggs.
Oh yeah,
How
50
at
seconds is more than enough time.
And also when Gunji went for the stinger while everyone else was luring the 2 steelheads and the eel. Without actually like de-luring the steelhead.
Yeah.
Also, their range control is pretty insane, but I wonder how much the weapons help with that, because these weapons are also really nice for that.
Yeah, these weapons are good at switching from task to task.
なあ。
Completely opposite from the previous ground rotation with Tenta and Dynamo,
Yeah.
where those weapons are better off dealing with one thing at a time slowly. These weapons are good at dealing with multiple things at once, as well as being more mobile, so they can move toward the torpedoes faster.
正面。
Yeah.
ヘビが2位。
左肩バトリーに行きたいけど、ヘビがやばい。
いけないね。
左に1残すのやばいくらい1個ある。
He said he wants to go for the left flyfish, but there's eels.
左行った。
2人減っ
右奥あるね。おー、取っちゃった。
ごめん、一回移動さ、左。ごめん。
右あ右うわ
インクね。
Yeah, prioritize the eel that is about to escape basket instead of the steelhead that is already just stuck at basket.
無理か。
間に合うか間に合わないな近くでよかったな
Wait a second.
間に合うか間に合わないな
Grab the
近
closer
くでよ
egg.
かったな間に合うか
So that's about 1 second behind.
近くでよかっ
He's already like touching basket.
たな
And also there was this like line of ink
間に合うか間に合わないな
that he could have painted with splatter shot foe,
近くでよかった
and he
な
still would have made it to basket. I think that would have allowed the person behind, and if he like got the farther egg. Though maybe if he got the farther egg, he wouldn't have had time to paint, but whichever he does, I think there would have barely been enough time for the person behind him to get the last egg in.
5-2。あ、今回運び屋もいい感じだな、きっと。ナイス、これ。塗り残しだ。
あれ無理いやー
右後ろもらうわ。逃したな。
I don't know why he paused shooting there.
Yeah, I was thinking of asking, like, what was the purpose of that? I'm assuming it was to prevent an egg from dropping down below, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, but that also means you don't have an egg below. Which means there's less eggs available.
Yeah.
But there is a higher chance for the cooler that escapes during that time to land closer to basket. Maybe that's what he was going for. Though maybe he was just trying to do something sneaky or witty, but it didn't work out as he wanted to.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay, it still worked out.
これ微妙だった。
ワンチュー
パイプでない。
ジェパニ
いいと。
B
片パだね。片パ行きます。
ほい
You can see they kill the steelhead as they're going for the fly fish.
あごめん帰る
ポイント。
あら。
グラに。
あ、行った。
おー正面
ヘリ削っ
ナイストリ
た。あれ、やった。
もう一個タワー出た気がする
もう一個出た。
もうグ
あ、
ラが多い
痛いっけ。飛ぶかな。あ
飛べないな。
わーお入った
I think now is the time to...
取れそうだ。
Okay.
帰った
引きます。
So here's why him going out for this egg is fine. It's because this player who used Splashdown is already here.
帰った
Like, as long as you're with the player who is returning, it makes no difference on what gets stalled or lured. But if you're like the last person
10%
to come back by a large margin, then
内
that's
着
more detrimental.
奥行きます。
But if you're in
Right,
sync
right.
with the person who's with the last person who's coming back, then it makes no difference.
Mhm.
Because it's when two or more players are together, then when it comes to stalling or luring steelheads, it's as if you're just one player.
2人
あ、時間ぴったりだ。
We've talked about this a long time ago on a Polaris review, I think.
24までですよね、これ。
はい。あ、そう、僕
Try
が
not to be
離脱します。
too late as the last player going for a far egg when there's steelheads to lure.
変わります。
ありがとうございます。
Yeah.
ありがとう
はい、
ございます。
ありがとうございました。
As long as you match your return time with the time of the person who's already returning, it should be good.
面白いな、やっぱ。感覚は
Okay, so that was that session. I wanna watch this 197. So with cannons, as the cannon, I prefer to shoot the left launcher first, because that's the launcher that can target you as the cannon, because it's a random target.
Mhm.
I feel like it was fine to kill that steelhead there. There's just not much happening, and like the other eggs are already near basket, so it's not like there's egg pile up far away. And they could have collected the eggs while luring the left steelhead closer.
Mhm.
That barely missed.
I was about to say, like, no stingers in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They should have gone for one earlier when they dropped down from cannon.
yeah, I was about to say that. Those 3 eggs. Other one needed for the 200.
Yeah. So let's see if they stun the next one kinda early. Okay, pretty typical spot. I think they could have gotten away with earlier.
Yeah, it went on the Great Pass.
Oh yeah, about that. You don't want to lure it under the grates unless you intend to kill it there. Because it takes
Yeah.
1 second or 2 longer to go through there than if it were just lured to the left. So when I recommend doing the great lure is when there isn't something the team is already doing, like dealing with another griller at the same time. Unless... What was that?
I don't know if the great luring was intentional or not.
Maybe it was a mistake, cause like team was already focusing on something else. Maybe they thought they could do it, but they just couldn't because the team was busy.
It was still a pretty nice killer.
Yeah. So the thing about luring it under the grate is try not to do too much at the same time. You don't need multiple people going for the same gusher.
I will have used jet there.
Yeah, I think this is more of a reactionary jet
Yeah.
rather than a jet planned in advance. Like here, I would have E-Leader full charge the Goldies more. I think, like, since the beginning
Or
they were
what?
tap shooting the Goldie when it's medium size. Now it's full charging. And see with the full charges it kills it earlier. Gamble? Ah.
Rip.
Oh, well, if they gambled, they would have gotten 200. I mean, if the gamble worked.
Yeah. That was just a really nice pass.
I think the late kills may have been the difference between getting 200.
And there's a lot of lessons around. I wonder if like any eggs managed to get snatched that were closer.
Let's see, actually. Uh-oh, there's a
I
snatcher.
saw missed that one.
Yeah, I think it got away. So that's one egg.
There's still eggs on grates.
I hear.
Oh, there's one
Walking
egg
away.
gone. That's two eggs. Oh, that's already would have been 200 if like one player went for the far egg on Kohawk charge. And then aren't there more eggs at middle?
Yeah.
Here's an instance where you would leave the pile of 3 eggs to be gotten last because snatchers would take longer to get that pile. And you prioritize the single eggs. Also, the Tri-Slosher not shooting the Goldie at the end was really risky.
If they only got the perfect wave one, they could have got it. Reminds me of the one in 98 we got that we only needed the perfect wave two.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing we have to work on as before. Like, it's getting back into a safe position when the aggro is about to switch, and only to jump down after the aggro has already switched. As well as, if you're on the middle platform and the aggro is on you, you have to make sure there's an opening at basket before jumping to there, or else you get knocked off by goldies or killed by them.
Also,
Mhm.
do not leave a leader alone at basket if it's the one targeted, because I often see like 2 people dropping down for eggs and E-leader or the slope weapon is along that basket and ends up dying, and then the aggro changes to someone down there and it snowballs.
Yeah.
So I will say to space out when to go for eggs below so you don't leave the person and basket unprotected.
Yep.
And wait for the person that went to get a far egg to come back so you can get a far egg by yourself.
Notice how he's shooting toward the side of the rush so that he doesn't direct hit the goldie.
Mm-hmm.
The goldies are being killed really close to basket. He didn't open the tent earlier because there were goldies right next to him. It would have knocked him back maybe into the water if he opened the Brilla. So he's launching the Brilla when goldies aren't right next to him. By the way, remember to look behind you if you don't see any eggs in front of you to get.
Yeah, Cantabras is just so busted for rush.
Depends what kind of rush, because normal tide arc is not that useful.
Yeah, but high tide is always gonna be useful with it.
Yeah, I was about to say that spawn would be good for Ray. The left side spawns. Because it's harder to reach with the other specials. I look how his immediate response to the aggro change. Like as soon as he saw the aggro switch to this player, he shot the chum that was going after them. Ah. I feel like the splashdown could have been saved for that one. Let's see these day waves. Also, look, he's looking right. And he's on the right side.
This is like what, 2020, 19?
I think 20 this year.
Maybe if they waited a second longer, they could have lured the drizzler. There's still an egg on the right side. Is there? Did it get snatched? Yeah, the moment he realized that as Hydra, he wouldn't be able to handle the steelheads because of the eel, he used Jet to deal with them. That would be... I was gonna say like, that could be a decent way. I don't know if they have a way.
Oh, pretty nice.
What eggs did they miss?
Yes. There was 2 eggs there?
2 eggs there and the fly fish on the right.
Uh,
If there was a third player who went for the fly fish egg, and if maybe Ray was used on the eel and scrapper closer to basket, it could have been perfect. Early in the wave you can get away with that if there's nothing else to do. I think that was okay to do. If I had to choose between luring one type of boss, it would be the steelheads. Because drizzlers can just jump closer no matter what. Steelheads, however, get stuck for a long time in one spot. Also, he took like a winding way because he wanted the Mars to go to basket player while he goes for a fire. That's a way, if there's way.
I think they used the last one earlier.
Oh. I'd consider using Ray on a jumping drizzler. Oh, that would have been alright. Oh,
splash time?
did they forget?
Probably they did. It was a pretty nice game. I think this is Samit's highest score for Bay ever.
Is this another rush? So I'd consider using specials on rush when eggs are piling up. Array can be good for the left spawns. Jet is just good for when you're targeted. Bomb rush can be good for the right side spawns. Ah. What happened? Feel like as dapples, like after you kill the Goldie, it could be good to like immediately aim at these incoming chums, so that they don't pass by and get in the way of the people behind. Or they don't stick around for too long and bother people.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen any frogs.
Probably don't just kill it there.
Yeah, there's some cases where it just doesn't matter where you kill it. Early in the game, that is.
Yeah.
Because there's just nothing else to do. I notice how even though he's the Splattershot Jr., he still aimed for the steelhead. Everyone aimed for the steelhead and it died because of it. Don't over-rely on one specific weapon to do it. So if you can shoot the steelhead, just shoot the steelhead. I don't think the flyfish got crippled from that. As he threw it as he was going up the lift. So that made the bomb go way up. Oh.
All that work for once.
Ow. If they were 10s, that could have been 82. And that would have been enough for 200. That just shows how much RNG you need on Bay.
Yeah.
Also, what's this? Is this Washington? Yeah. Skip. Also, remember to space out your specials on Wash. Like, even if there aren't that many eggs, spacing them out can be good. Oh, there's no ways. Is this worth watching? We already know it's not gonna be
You can see
good.
what the score is at the end.
When I say it's not gonna be good, it's not gonna be good in the sense of records good.
Yeah.
Like, it can be good for what they have now. No ways, that is. But in comparison to everything else, not really. Once again, if they got a different High Tide Night, it probably would have been at 200.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. We had that happen once. Where literally any other wave other than Mothership would have gotten us 200. And then, like, every shift after that shift had a High Tide Night with a 70,
That
which
wave.
was enough for
Yeah.
200 in the previous shift.
Yeah, it was a curse session.
There I would have gone for the farther egg instead of that closer one. Because there was time to get it. Oh. Not even 50. Low tide. You can see they gathered some eggs while waiting for the flyfish to open up. So you don't always need to be right on the flyfish. You can just be there when it's opening up the cannons, I mean the launchers. Ah,
To not get bag.
they should have just made sure it got killed. Yeah, splashdown followed by the jet lure is good. The splashdown becomes more important the more steelheads there are. Aren't there still eggs on the left? Yeah.
There's an egg.
I feel like here, the moment the drizzler is heard being killed, I think that's when the attention should have gone to the left, because just 2 eggs here, and then you have that other player who can return and get at least 1 egg in, but there are just more eggs on the left. Maybe it could have been 2 more eggs gotten, if the left was paid more attention to. 2 players on left, 2 players on right would have been even. Sun Rush? Really, I think it's fine for any of the 3 weapons to filter. Just don't have 2 of them doing it at the same time, because that's unnecessary. Unless one of them is low on ink and you're swapping out with someone else. I think Tri-Slosher is our best bet. If not, then Bamboo can do it, if Tri-Slosher's aggroed. So, N-Zap or Dapples. I think Pro is strong enough to kill Goldies at basket for E-Leader. Or to handle like any chums that make it through. Because Pro just doesn't have enough ink to handle a full rush interval. Just get these eggs, and then bomb the flyfish. Not sure why he went out to the middle. Maybe he was preparing for any statics that might spawn. So with this ray, I'm guessing there's a second ray available. This is the mid-wave ray I was talking about. On wave 3. Okay, maybe the ray will be used here for this one? Yeah, there it is. Was it just the 2 statics at middle and doing the mid wave?
One stack spawned on the right.
So wait, how many statics are there? There's 1 fly fish far. I don't think the eggs were gotten from that. And there must have been a static on the right at the end that there wasn't enough time for. 2 eels at middle at 34 seconds. It's not worth it to go for the middle legs. Maybe here would have been good to drop down for an egg, for Nautilus to drop down. I think the nice there, the booyah there, was the signal that there were no more eggs on the right. Maybe they got snatched.
Yeah, most likely did. There was like 2 statics that spawned down there.
So Luna is the best weapon for small fries, which we can see the Luna's clearing them. Blobber is DPS. Scope is stun damage. Vela is also DPS and also small fly control. Was the splashdown necessary? Like, we already see the way happening. And in that time you could also just shoot it with splatter scope and they would get stunned in the same spot. Because the way always
Yes,
has...
just for damage.
Yeah. If you can't get a full charge off in time, you can do a partial like that. Oh, that's a waste. Uh oh. Overcooked it. So, splashdowning on the inner corner of the gorilla turn is never a good idea. Because the tail is just never gonna face you.
That was just a Hail Mary to see if it worked out.
Yeah.
I need to go now to make dinner, but if there's something else to talk about, I can watch the vlog later.
Okay.
Right. See you guys. Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye.
So here, the splatter scope neglects sniping the griller and goes for that instead. But there's still time for this griller to make it up. And maybe it could have been used on that one instead.
I wonder if he could have lived the right before he did splashdown.
He could have what?
I wonder if he could have, like, maybe he did it because he thought he was gonna die. As it was his last resort, so it didn't snowball due to his death.
Yeah, maybe. The griller was coming pretty close. Though, like, this is similar to that 75 grillers we watched earlier, where the end zap abandoned middle, and the griller didn't get stunned at basket.
Yeah.
In this case, the splatter shop abandoned stunning the griller. Or not stunning the griller, but contributing the most damage, and then someone at the corner could have dealt the last amount of damage to stun the gorilla at the corner. So let's assume that did happen. Let's assume he goes to the left and then shoots this gorilla. And then someone stuns it at the corner. It gets stunned here. And then by now it's dead. And then he still has splashdown here. He can splash down right now and stun the gorilla in the corner. And this gorilla would still be like about here.
Mm-hmm.
So he definitely has time to like all the eggs would be over here. So everyone would be there. So it's not like luring the gorilla like up to here would be any dangerous. So he could even like go to basket sooner because the eggs are all on the right and not on the left.
Yeah.
Also, the umbrella launched the shield to kill the line of snatchers coming up the ramp. Oh, right there. He shot the very left side of the Cohawk, so the indirect blast wouldn't hit the Gusher. That's basket. So I would ignore the basket eggs and go for the middle eggs that are farther away. So the other members are doing that. I think it's because Okazu is hosting that he's getting the basket eggs. Open basket, yeah. Unlucky again.
That's a perfect wave 2.
So there's less special, so they're gonna have to go hard on the statics.
Wow.
Were any arrays used previously? I don't think I saw any on Guerrillas.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So that must have been the first array used for mid-wave statics. Like we've seen before. Hmm. Were all the back eggs on? How many back eggs are there? There's 4. Let's see how many the Luna gets. 1, 2, 3. Does someone else help the Luna? I can't see. Oh yeah, there was. I think there was someone else with them, so the 4 eggs were gone. Though. So like. Right here. So there's eggs here and eggs here. There's someone over here. I think it could be more optimal to go for these eggs and let the player here get these eggs. Because if you think about it, you're moving past basket to go here, and they're moving past basket to go here, which is like a crisscross. Instead of just a direct line to the next eggs. Here would be like there, get the eggs, boom, boom, boom. Here would be boom, boom, boom. Instead of like swish and swish. You don't want to do the swish.
Yeah. Too much time wasted if crisscrossing.
Yeah. The time spent moving past basket to get the eggs on the other side of basket is like half a second per player. Sometimes up to a full second, depending on where the eggs are. Okay. Let's adjourn then.
Alright.
See you.
Bye.